Hey guys, welcome to Movie Club. This week it is Blade Trinity. Now, I watched this movie like 1.5 times throughout the week. You know, just kind of, I did a little extra credit, and I actually watched Blade 1, Blade 2, and then I got to Blade 3 because it had been so long since I had watched these other two. And honestly, I just wanted this to be the movie to give me an excuse to watch all three of these movies. If I had just picked Blade, I would have just watched Blade and then not watched Blade 2 or Blade Trinity. Now, that being said, a little bit of a trick there. I pulled a tricky on you. So, Blade Trinity is not the best Blade movie. It's pretty awesome. Like, it's got some good action scenes, some good, like, you know, vampire kung fu fighting. Wesley Snipes is really good in it, and there's a lot of, you know, stuff you can read online about stories of behind the scenes of Wesley Snipes just being an absolute, like, jerk to everybody and refusing to leave his trailer, you know, refusing to act opposite, like, Ryan Reynolds or something. Like, they didn't get along very well. You can, when you watch the movie, you can kind of tell that he doesn't really want to be there sometimes. And they did a pretty good job of editing around that and making it work. And you know what? I'm glad that Wesley Snipes got to go be Blade one more time. I think shortly after this movie, he ended up going to prison for tax evasion, I believe. And he recently got out in the last couple of years. But, you know, this was his baby. You know, the Blade trilogy, honestly, this is Wesley Snipes. Like, Wesley Snipes can be anything else, but honestly, this is it. He's Blade. And it's, if you don't know about it, Marvel, Disney, whatever, they're doing a new Blade series with Mahershala. I don't know how to say the actor's name, so I don't even know how to spell it. But I know it sounds kind of like that sound I made. Mahershala. Anyways. They're redoing that series in the next, you know, who knows, couple of years. So it's a good opportunity, good time to go back and watch the Blade trilogy. Now, because I tricked you, I'll just kind of walk you through this. This movie here, it mainly makes you want to just wish that you were watching number 1 or number 2. Number 1 is the best. This one, he goes up against a blood god. It's Blade versus a big blood god. He's got a friend, Whistler, who's played by Kristoferson in all 3 movies. And it's really confusing at times because watching these as a kid, I remembered that, like, sometimes he was dead, sometimes he was alive, sometimes he was a vampire. When you rewatch the movies, it makes a little more sense. But watching them, you know, only one at a time every couple of years, you're like, wait a minute, what's that guy doing in the movie? Is he still alive? I don't know. Another aspect of these movies that's really confusing at times is the idea of a cure. They talk about a cure to vampirism and whatever. And even Ryan Reynolds in Blade Trilogy, he was a vampire, and then they cured him. But they kill vampires all the time. So I don't know if he was just a vampire that didn't feed, or if he was only kind of a little bit of a vampire, like they infected him a little bit. It's not very clear. And maybe it is, and maybe I missed it, and maybe I didn't really care because I was, like, washing the dishes while I watched this movie sometimes with my cell phone out on a little tripod and stuff. It's a good movie to have on in the background while you're getting other stuff done, honestly. Blade 1 and Blade 2 are a little bit better. Blade 2 is directed by Guillermo del Toro. And this one is a team-up where Blade teams up with the vampires to fight a common enemy. And it's got Ron Perlman in it, you know, a Guillermo special. What's his name? He's the guy he's the redneck with the crossbow on Walking Dead. Shoot, hold on. I hate everybody. We'll just call him Redneck Crossbow Guy from Walking Dead. He's in this movie, and he's, you know, he teams up with Guillermo del Toro and a couple other things. For those of you who are into video games, there's PT on the PS4, which was a Silent Hills thing that had Norman Reedus in it, and then some bizarre pizza delivery motorcycle in the future game. That's my understanding of what it is. Death Stranding. And there's weird babies that are like batteries. Anyways, Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro, they've been a team for a while. He plays Scud, who's a replacement, mild spoilers on Blade 1, replacement for Chris Kristoferson's character. But then he comes back and is, again, cured of being a vampire. Hush, spoiler warnings, you shouldn't be in movie club if you don't watch Blade 3 if you haven't watched Blade 1 and Blade 2. This is Blade 3. But, come on. Anyways, so Whistler dies in the first movie, bitten by the vampire. Blade gives him a gun. Walk away, Blade. I'm gonna, walk away. I'm gonna kill myself. But rather than be a vampire, you hear the gunshot. And then the second movie, you find out that he survived the gunshot and he just became a vampire. And then the vampires got him and put him in a cryo chamber, and just kind of kept him alive. Not cryo, that's freezing. Some sort of blood chamber. And to keep him alive and to torture him because they knew that he belonged to Blade, even though he was a vampire. Or Chris Whistler's a vampire. It's really stupid. Anyways, and then Blade and them, they rescue him with Scud's help. And then they cure him of being a vampire by injecting him with some garlic. Some, super garlic. And that's it. And I'm like, why don't you guys rescue anyone else? And if he's being kept alive in a blood chamber, he's obviously feeding. Anyways, it doesn't make any sense. And I don't remember, he just exists at the end of that movie and survives it. And then he's also in Blade Trinity. So anyways, he's in all three movies despite having died in the first. But I like Chris Kristoferson, so it's good that he's there. He's kind of this kind of curly, long, gray hair mechanic. Blade, you're gonna take this new weapon that I made you. It's gonna pump the UV lights into the vampires, and the silver stakes that I made, they're sharper than ever. That's my Chris Kristoferson accent, I guess, impression. Anyways, it was a fun trilogy to rewatch, and again, like I said, I pulled a sneaky on you and just told you the third one, hoping that maybe you would watch the other two. Now, like I said, the other two are great, and this is the kind of thing that you turn on the TV, it's on like TBS, and you're like, oh, I like Blade. Which Blade is this? Oh, this is the third one, the one with Dracula. Okay, I kind of wish it was the first or the second one, but I'll watch this. And the guy who plays Dracula, he's like this super hot male model kind of dude. He's really built. He kind of reminds me of Dean from Supernatural, in a way. Anyways, he can transform into this giant 9-foot tall dragon monster thing. And he can, if you're here, you've seen the end of the movie. He transforms into that big stupid thing. It's kind of awesome. It's stupid. It's whatever. But I don't understand why some of the vampires' mouths open like this. In Blade 2, the bad guys, the big monster, the big bad, they were these super toxic vampires whose mouths open like that. But in this third movie, that's how Dracula's was, and they talk about him being the grandfather of all vampires, and it's if he started off being like that. Anyways, it doesn't make sense in connection with the way that the vampires' mouths open. The monster guys' mouths open in Blade 2. I'm going crazy here. Back to Blade Trinity. Blade Trinity has Ryan Reynolds in it, and he plays this proto version of Deadpool. You can tell that he's really nailing down that smarmy, I'm telling a joke to the audience, to anyone else who may be listening on this conversation, and I'm hilarious at it. And it got me thinking, what's it like to hang out with Ryan Reynolds, Is he always cracking these, jokes and stuff and being very sarcastic? He seems like a funny guy. And you know what? This movie is the first movie that I know of where he really, really got it. He got that right level of annoying and funny and whatever. It's pretty much his Deadpool character. And I think this is where it started. A Marvel, produced by Stan Lee, it's a Marvel movie. This trilogy is what this and like the Spider-Man Sam Raimi trilogy really got the superhero thing going in the late 1900s, early 2000s, late 1900s. But anyways, back to Blade. One of the things, superhero landing. The first time I remember seeing a real good superhero landing was in Blade. Boom! You know, he lands on the ground and he catches his sword out of the air, or sunglasses or something. You know, Wesley Snipes is really cool in these movies. Like, he is Blade. There's an interview he did for maybe the first Blade, but he does it in character with, like, you know, Entertainment Tonight or something. And I'm Blade. I'm the Daywalker. I guess that's my Wesley Snipes. There's a part in Blade Trinity where he's you know, he's threatening trying to get someone to open the door, or, you know, whatever. He's threatening this guy, and then he's like, oh, they'll kill me. He's like, mother effer, I'm gonna kill you. You know, he kind of breaks that, like, cool vampire and does the, like, the attitude, you know, black dude with a tude, like Wesley Snipes does so well. Anyways, it was a fun little movie. Oh, you know, before we go, we'll talk about Jessica Biel. So I haven't talked about her yet. She is looking pretty good in this movie. This is like the height of her like hotness. She came off of the show Seventh Heaven, and then this was really the first thing I remember seeing her in after Seventh Heaven, and it was like, oh dang, it's Jessica Biel. I'm going to see some of Jessica's Biels. I don't know. Anyways, she's really good looking in this. I'm glad she has a movie like this to go. And you know what? Ryan Reynolds, too. He even shows us a little bit of his, you know, the little V muscle going down to your groin area to show him a vampire tattoo. Whatever. I don't understand why he's a human, by the way. He is cured of being a vampire. It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, back to Jessica Biel. So she's like the hottie badass. She listens to the original iPod. You know, she's making, there's a part where she's sitting there on her computer making playlists, and Blade's like, what is she doing? And Ryan Reynolds is like, you know, she's making playlists. She likes to hunt while she listens to cool music. You know, go buy an iPod. They're the best. It's hilarious. Like, and honestly, that was one of the first times I remember seeing like an iPod in a movie too. But anyways, it was really funny. She's a badass in this movie. They're all badasses. I had an idea for a, let's see if I can get this in before the 15-minute mark. I had an idea for a Deadpool 3 movie. It was actually, Deadpool 3. And it would be that Deadpool teams up with Blade, Wesley Snipes from the Blade movies, and he become like, it's like a buddy movie where it's them two together. You know, in watching this movie, you're like, oh, that movie already happened. But anyways, kind of fun, kind of whatever. Blade, Wesley Snipes will always be my Blade. He is awesome. That being said, the new Blade is probably going to be super sweet, and I'm really excited to see where they take the story. So just a reminder of what is on Movie Club next week. I don't remember, put it here, and a title or whatever. Remember to watch this movie. I can't remember, so I'm not going to bother saying which one. It's been great. Here's a cool cup that I just got. Who you gonna call? Freaking Ghostbusters. I'm really excited to drink my first coffee because it doesn't have anything in it. But anyways, it's been awesome hanging out. Happy Halloween, October times. Love you guys. Peace.